What is going on, everybody? How is everybody doing today? And today we are back here with another start, bench, or cut here in the NBA. You guys loved the first one of this, so I was like, why don't we do another one of these? I am doing it from the same Instagram account, start, bench, cut. I will leave a link to the account in the description below. I do have 7 lined up for today. And yeah, if you guys are enjoying these and want to see this maybe be a little bit of a mini series, drop a thumbs up. If we can get over like 600-700 likes, that'd be pretty cool, and I would know that you guys want to see this. And like always, like I do, let me know what you guys would have picked in the comment section below. Maybe for one of them, 2 of them, and if you want to do all 7, that'd be cool too. I will read all of the comments and see what you guys pick as well. So let's get into this first one, where we have an interesting range of centers here. We have DeAndre Ayton, Andre Drummond, and Nikola Vucevic. So it's interesting here because they all are better at kind of their own, I think, things. Vucevic is definitely the best shooter out of these centers. I would say Drummond is definitely the best rebounder. It's hard to say who's the best defender out of these because you could go Ayton. It's probably not Vooch. It's probably not Vooch. So, I think what I'm going to do here, Pistons fans or Cavs fans, I should say, might get mad at me. I think I'm going to start Vucevic. I'm going to bench Ayton, and I'm going to cut Andre Drummond. One, I like a center that can shoot. I do. He's a good rebounder. He's a good playmaker. He's not as good of a defender as probably Drummond or Ayton, but neither of those two guys are really all that good at rim protecting here or perimeter defense. So I think I'm going to start Vooch. Now I'm going to bench Ayton because I kind of like Ayton's versatility a little bit more than Drummond. He's not turnover prone. He kind of knows his role at the moment, and maybe that's just because he's a sophomore in the NBA, and once he gets more experience in the NBA, he might take as many shots or just handle the ball as much as maybe Drummond does. But that's the reason I kind of have Drummond a little bit low here. He can't obviously space the floor. I wouldn't say he's a great rim protector, and he wants to be a ball handler, and he's just not a good one whatsoever. He's turnover prone. He can't shoot free throws. I'm going to cut Drummond, and I think, I'm going to start Vooch. It's close, Vooch over Ayton, but I'm going to take that, and then I'm going to bench Ayton and then cut Drummond. So let's move here into the next one, where we have Brandon Ingram, Lauri Markkanen, and Jaylen Brown. So I think right away we're cutting Lauri Markkanen. Going into this season, I might have cut Brandon Ingram. Or maybe you would have chose Markkanen. You might have started Markkanen out of all these 3. But after this year, what we kind of know, the system he's in, the coaching, and just the team success, we are cutting Lauri Markkanen. Obviously, Ingram is on the Pels and Brown. And I think, yeah, I'm gonna start Brandon Ingram, and I'm gonna bench Jaylen Brown. One was an all-star. One has improved mightily after this year. Actually, Jaylen Brown has improved, obviously. And he was definitely a borderline all-star in the Eastern Conference. He was definitely an honorable mention. And if there was an injury, maybe he would have got in. He is on a better team, so you have to give him respect and some points for that. Obviously, he's been on a more winning team. He's made it to the Eastern Conference Finals already in his 3rd, or this is his 4th year now. Brandon Ingram has yet to make the playoffs in the NBA, but I still think talent-wise, I think I'm going to go Ingram at the... I think I'm going to start Ingram and bench Brown. It is really close. It is really close. And if Jason Tatum was on here, I'd probably start Tatum over Ingram. But I think, yeah, I'm going to start Ingram, bench Jaylen Brown. It is really close in that aspect. Cut Markkanen. Cutting Markkanen was pretty easy. Brown is definitely the better, I think, perimeter defender, but Ingram has definitely improved on that side. Ingram's definitely the better offensive player. And maybe, who knows, maybe if you put Brown on the Pelicans and Ingram on the Celtics, maybe just if they switch coaches and maybe switch talent around them, maybe it would be a little bit better. But the Pelicans had a good roster this year. But, obviously injuries didn't help and a really slow start. But, yeah, I'm going to start Ingram, bench Jaylen Brown, cut Lauri Markkanen. And for this one, I was going to start Vucevic, bench DeAndre Ayton, and cut Andre Drummond. So moving on to the third one here. We have 3 really good point guards here. So we have Ben Simmons, Trae Young, and Ja Morant. Ja Morant is fantastic. He's going to be a top 5 point guard in the NBA one day. He might be a top 5 player in the NBA one day. But I am going to cut Ja Morant. It's experience here. He lacks a little bit of it. I do like his defense, obviously, more than Trae Young's. I do like Trae Young's offense more. But technically, if the season ended, Morant would have already had more playoff experience than a Trae Young. But I am going to cut Ja. And I'm going to... who do I want to bench? I think I'm going to bench Trae. Now, my reasoning is benching Trae and starting Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons has been on more winning teams. He's a better all-around player because you're counting in defense. Ben Simmons is an elite defender. He's a potential defensive player of the year, all-defensive first-team defensive player, where Trae Young might be on the all-defensive of the worst team in the NBA or the non-defensive first team. But obviously he's an incredible offensive player. So I think I'm going to have Trae as my bench, and I'm going to have Ben Simmons as my starter. Like I said, playoff experience, all-around play. Obviously, if this was based off offense, it would go Trey, Ja, Ben. But we're taking overall players into this. I'm going to do this if I want, like, overall. So this is, like, kind of like my rankings, where it's, like, Game 7 in the playoffs, or who you want kind of winning you games. Who do you want to win you games, or who do you think would have the most impact if you put them on any top 15 or any good team in the NBA? Who would fit that team the best? And I think Ben Simmons, a guy that mainly needs the ball in his hands. Obviously, he can't shoot, but he's a very good playmaker. He's just as good of a passer as Trae Young. I think Trae Young is a better passer. He's got better court vision. I don't know why, but Trae Young's face in this makes him look like really old, like he's like 60. But yeah, I don't know why. I'm just looking at that. But yeah, I think, yeah, I'm going to go start Ben, bench Trae, and then cut Ja Morant. I think that's what we are going to do. Okay. So, recap here. We got start Vucevic, bench DeAndre Ayton, cut Andre Drummond. Start Brandon Ingram, cut Jaylen Brown. That one was tough. And then, or no, start Brandon Ingram, bench Jaylen Brown, cut Larry Markkinen. And then start Ben Simmons, bench Trae Young, and cut Ja Morant. All right, moving on to our fourth one here. We have two guys from the 2017 draft class in Jason Tatum and De'Aaron Fox. And we have a guy from the 2013 draft class in CJ McCollum from Lehigh. So, I'm starting Jason Tatum. Two-way, phenomenal beast. He's probably, yeah, he's the best defender on this list already. He's probably might be becoming the more talented player on this list. Obviously, McCollum's give us 4 or 5 straight really good years, or 4 really good solid seasons, coming off his most improved player season. But I think I'm going to start Tatum. And I think that was the easy one here, to definitely start Jason Tatum. After this past year, he's turning into a top 25, possibly top 20 guy in the NBA. You might consider him top 20. That might be a stretch already to already put him in the top 20. But you know what? He led the Celtics team to what? They're going to end the season as a 3 seed. He was the best player on the team this year. He was phenomenal on both ends. His shooting splits were really solid. And I think this was the easy decision here to start Jason Tatum. So what we are going to do here is now have a debate here. Who would you rather have, CJ McCollum or De'Aaron Fox? This is tough. Because I think Fox, he might be the better overall player. He's a better defender. He's better in transition. I don't know if he's better at scoring at the rim, because McCollum's solid in that too. Obviously, McCollum's a better shooter, mid-range and three-point, off the dribble, spot up, moving off ball as well, and he has had some playoff experience. De'Aaron Fox has not. It's tough. This one is tough, but I think I'm going to bench CJ McCollum and cut De'Aaron Fox, just because we have yet to see. I mean, the Kings were solid and respectable last year, but we really haven't seen Fox lead them to be a really good NBA team. McCollum hasn't led the Trailblazers, but you know what? He's definitely been the Robin to, obviously, Damian Lillard's Batman on that team. But he's shown that he can also play well in the playoffs. He did play pretty well in the Nuggets series last year in the Western Conference semifinals, and then De'Aaron Fox, we have yet to see him in the playoffs. Like Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum has also made it to the conference finals already, and he showed that he can be a pretty solid playoff player already. So, yeah, I am going to start Jason Tatum, bench CJ McCollum, and cut De'Aaron Fox, but between CJ and De'Aaron Fox, that one was super close. Now, we got 3 more here. This one, I thought was tough, and I think it is tough, and I'm going to categorize this into 2 ways. So, I'm going to do regular season, and if it's regular season, I'm starting Giannis, I'm benching LeBron, and cutting Kawhi. That is for regular season. Obviously, Giannis is going to be a 2-time MVP, but mainly, I just wanted to get that out there because I wanted to show Giannis some love. So that's what it would be for regular season. But for playoffs, and somebody you would want just on any good team and who could lead you, from what we've seen these last couple years, okay, I'm going to start Kawhi, I'm going to bench LeBron, and I'm going to cut Giannis. The reasoning behind that is Kawhi, he had the best season last year. He won Finals MVP. He led that Raptors team to a Finals victory over arguably the best team of all time. Yes, they did get very lucky with injuries, but he still led them regardless. He beat a very good Sixers team. He beat a very good Bucks team, and he beat a still very solid Warriors team, even though they had pretty much no KD, no Klay some games, and no Cousins. But he was the best player there. He's showing this year that he's still an elite NBA player, and the Clippers might be the favorites to win it all. So Kawhi is my number 1 at this moment. He's the best perimeter defender on this list. He has the best mid-range shot on this list. He's probably the best shooter on this list. Yeah, over LeBron. Obviously, defense inside, like you probably want Giannis, obviously, but I think he's the best two-way player here, and I'm starting Kawhi. I am benching LeBron because it's still LeBron freaking James. Yes, last year wasn't as good as it's been previously for LeBron, but this year he's shown if he has a respectable team around him, he could still be one of the best players in the NBA, and he's leading the Lakers to a 1 seed, which a lot of people thought they'd be around like the 3, 4, 5 seed this year. So I'm going to bench LeBron, and obviously we know he's going to play well in the playoffs, whatever seed they are, whoever they're playing, or he'll at least play pretty much what we've seen from LeBron. And Giannis, he played well in the playoffs last year. Obviously, they steamrolled the Pistons. They lost game 1 to the Celtics, but you know he played phenomenal in that series. They were up 2-0 on the Raptors, but I mean, Giannis is the third best player on this. Like, if you're saying like best players in the NBA, Giannis is the third best player in the NBA. It's not like this is like the middle tier of the NBA. Like, Giannis is still a top 3 player in the NBA overall wise, and he's the best regular season player we have seen. But since he hasn't gone to the big one yet, he hasn't gone to the finals and won it all, I'm going to take the experience and just kind of that motor and that, I guess, Mamba mentality of Kawhi, and then I'm going to start Kawhi, bench LeBron, and cut Giannis. This one is tough, and I can perfectly get your reasoning for starting Giannis if you think that this is his year, and he's developed so much from last year to this year, and he's gotten better, and you think he's going to make it all the way this year with the Bucks, if we do get playoffs, hopefully we do. So I could perfectly be fine with that. I could be perfectly fine with any scenario here. If you're starting LeBron, benching him, or cutting him, same with Kawhi, same with Giannis. But my opinion is, overall-wise, to get you that big one, I'm starting Kawhi, benching LeBron, and cutting Giannis. And it's probably more close with Kawhi and LeBron than it is with LeBron and Giannis. So that one was tough. We do have 2 more here. This one is a little bit of less talent here than the previous one. So we have Patrick Beverley, Eric Gordon, and Karis LeVert. I'm starting Karis LeVert. He showed that with no Kawhi, he could probably be that best offensive player this year when he's healthy. It sucks he got a major injury once again. He was out for some time. Not a major injury, I should say. Just like a serious injury. He missed some time, but he came back. He dropped a 50-piece. That game against the Celtics was phenomenal. And he's shown that he could be a really good offensive talent in the NBA and could probably be a third, maybe a fourth option on a really good team. Like, you put this guy on the Clippers or the Lakers, he'd be a really nice addition. Or like the Milwaukee Bucks. So I'm going to start Karis. It's tough because do you want 3-point shooting or do you want defense? I'm going to bench Beverly, and I'm going to cut Eric Gordon. Eric Gordon wasn't very good this year. He was hurt, and he's mainly there to shoot threes, and he wasn't great at it this year. So Patrick Beverley was still a solid defender. He's still going to annoy every team he plays. And you know what? He's the type of guy that you would love to have him on your team. You would hate to play against him. So I'm going to start LeVert, bench Beverly, and cut Eric Gordon. And then the final one is a tough one. I don't even know my answer yet. When I picked this one, I was like, all right, I'll just think of this on the spot. So we're doing prime player for each of these. This is tough, man. This is tough. I might be a little bit biased for Chris Paul, and I'm going to start Chris Paul. And you might be like, Matt, he was the only player on this list not to win an MVP. But I think if you put Chris Paul, I think he's probably the best defender out of anybody. Maybe Prime Russ can give him a run for his money. But I'm going to start CP3 this prime. Was a phenomenal player. He never got as good as talent as the teams around Rose and Russ. Russ has had KD, Harden, Ibaka, Paul George, etc. And he's had solid coaches. I mean, obviously, okay, well, this is Pelicans or Hornets CP3. Rose, he had a really good team in Chicago. He had Joakim Noah, Taj Gibson, a little bit of Carlos Boozer, Tom Thibodeau, Jimmy Butler. It was Kirk Heinrich. It was a good team. Luol Deng. Chris Paul, in New Orleans, it wasn't great. Obviously, in LA and Houston, he's had some good talent, but that probably wasn't his prime. Maybe his first couple years in LA, but mainly the end of his Hornets days. We just heard that the Warriors offered Steph Curry a first-round pick and Klay Thompson for Chris Paul, but Chris Paul wouldn't re-sign at Golden State, so it didn't happen. So that's how crazy his value was, and I'm going to start CP3. I just think he's the best ball handler on this list. I think he's the smartest player. By far is the best basketball IQ, I believe, on this list. I think he's the best shooter on this list. And I think he's the best defender on this list. So he's probably not the best at scoring in the rim. He's definitely not the most athletic player on this list. Probably not the best in transition. But I'm starting Chris Paul. Now, this is tough. This is tough. Both these guys won MVPs. Oh, man. I am leaning towards benching Russ and cutting Derrick Rose. Obviously, we don't know how far Derrick Rose could have went into the playoffs in his prime years before the ACL injuries. Russ, he's never led a team. Obviously, the previous years he's been kind of the number one. I guess last year, obviously, he wasn't. But the 1 year he won MVP, they lost in round 1. I don't know. I kind of want to flip a coin for this one, but I'm not gonna. I don't know. Do I want to bench Russ and cut D Rose? I mean, both of them really not great shooters. I'd probably take Rose in that category. I would rather have Westbrook on the defensive side of the ball. Motor, probably Russ. When he's on, this dude plays like his life's on the line. Scoring at the rim, I'm probably taking Derrick Rose. Yeah. You know what? This one's tough. You can go with either one. I don't know. Oh, I might bench Rose and cut Russ. Oh, I don't know. You know what? No, this one is so tough. So, like, this is just subjective opinion here. I'm going to bench Russ and cut Derrick Rose, but I'm perfectly fine with the other way around. I just had to pick one here, and I could have said bench Rose and cut Russ. It wouldn't have meant much to me. I'm fine with either one. So yeah, let's just recap here. So we have a start Vucevic, bench DeAndre Ayton, cut Andre Drummond. We have a start Brandon Ingram, bench Jaylen Brown, cut Larry Markkinen. Start Ben Simmons, bench Trae Young, cut John Morant. Start Jason Tatum, bench CJ McCollum, cut De'Aaron Fox. Start Kawhi Leonard, bench LeBron James, cut Giannis Antetokounmpo. Start Caris LeVert, bench Patrick Beverly, and cut Eric Gordon. And then finally, we have start Chris Paul. Do I want to change? I kind of want to change my mind here, but I'm not gonna. We're gonna bench Russ and cut Derrick Rose, sadly. So yeah, that is going to be for me. I hope you guys did enjoy. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. I know Derrick Rose fans, or just people that think that you would bench Rose and cut Russ, are going to let me know, or even start Rose. And that's perfectly fine. That was just my opinion, and I perfectly get your opinion. So honestly, you don't even have to comment it. I get it. But if you want to, like I said, comment whatever you want. I love hearing your guys' opinions. And let me know, for most of these, what would you start, bench, and cut? And yeah, if you guys want to see more of these on the channel, don't forget to drop a thumbs up. Thank you all for the support lately on this channel. It really means a lot. We just hit 50,000 subscribers, which is pretty dope. So we're halfway there from getting a plaque or a 100K plaque on the second channel. That would be kind of cool. So yeah, thank you all for watching. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys next video.